They just insulted you in front of the whole room. They are not just listening for your words, and they are watching your face. They want you to get angry so you look unstable or explain yourself so you look insecure. They need your reaction to justify their behavior. But when you give them nothing, no anger, no nervous laugh, no rushed comeback, just 5 seconds of silence, the pressure has nowhere to go but back onto them. That is the silence rule. And this is why disrespectful people panic the moment you stop talking. Because now everyone feels the pause. The person who insulted you expected movement. They expected you to blink first. They expected you to rescue them from the tension they created. But silence only works if it looks controlled. So for the first 3 seconds, do not look away, do not smirk, and do not rush to fill the gap. Hold your face neutral. Let the room feel who created the tension. But when you stay still, the room has time to notice something most people miss. You were not the one who made the moment uncomfortable. They were, and once you stop rescuing them, the first sign of their panic is usually a double down. A move that exposes them even further. Most people notice the insult, but they miss the compliance scan that comes right after it. After they say it, they check your face, your eyes, your shoulders, and whether you smile just to keep the peace. They are not wondering if you heard them. They are measuring whether you will help them get away with it. Because disrespect usually needs your cooperation to survive. If you overreact, they say, "See, I was just joking." You are too sensitive. If you explain yourself, they say, "Why are you making this so serious?" If you laugh nervously, they learn something worse. They learn that they can lower you in public and you will still help the room feel comfortable. That is why silence interrupts the scan. It gives them no data, no emotional spike, no defensive speech, and no permission slip. They want you to get angry so you look like a nutcase. But when you do not give them the role they wrote for you, they have to stand there with their own words. That is when the panic phase begins. First comes the double down. This is when they try to repair the insult without admitting it was an insult. They say, "Relax, I was just kidding." Or, "You always take things the wrong way." Or, "Wow, someone is sensitive today." That is not confidence. That is damage control. They expected your reaction to become the problem, but your silence made their comment remain the problem. So now they push harder and hope the room follows them. This is the victim switch. They hurt you, then act like you attack them. If you take the bait, the room stops looking at their disrespect and starts looking at your emotion. So do not rescue them from the tension they created. Let the double down expose the weakness behind the first comment. Then comes the nervous fill. This is where they start talking because the quiet feels unbearable. They explain the joke, bring up another topic, or laugh first so the room knows what reaction to copy. But the more they talk, the more obvious it becomes. They are no longer controlling the room, they are performing for it. You are running a process they do not even have installed. You are not fighting them. You are letting the moment show everyone who needed the attack to feel powerful. Then comes the physical leak. This is the part most people miss. Watch what happens to their body. Their eyes move away first. Their smile gets too wide. Their hands get busy. They reach for a phone, a cup, a pen, anything that gives their body somewhere to hide. Their voice may get louder or suddenly softer. Their breathing changes. Their posture shifts. Because their mouth is trying to look casual, but their nervous system knows the room has changed. The silence acts as a mirror and they hate what they see. But this is where you must understand the difference between weak silence and tactical silence. Weak silence collapses. It looks down. It shrinks. It hopes the moment disappears. Tactical silence stays present. It does not glare. It does not sulk. It simply refuses to carry discomfort that does not belong to you. That distinction matters because silence only works when it looks chosen. If your silence looks like fear, they may keep going. But if it looks calm, steady, and deliberate, the room senses you are not confused. You are observing. Think about it. In a group, the person speaking is the one on stage. By saying nothing, you have effectively walked off stage and left them standing under the spotlight alone. When you stop speaking, you stop being the performance. They become the performance. That is the social mirror effect. Their words stay in the air longer than they wanted. Their tone becomes easier to hear, and suddenly the person who tried to make you look small is the one being studied. Before you finally speak, run a quick status check on your own body. Your face stays neutral, not smug, not wounded. Your eyes stay steady, but you do not stare like you are trying to intimidate them. Your hands stay still. No fidgeting, no nervous adjusting, no checking your phone to escape the moment. Your breathing stays slow enough that your voice does not rush. Your posture stays upright but relaxed, because the line is not the weapon by itself. The state behind the line is the weapon. When you break the silence, do not defend yourself. Make them explain themselves. In a professional setting, the cleanest line is, "Are you finished?" Not angry. Not sarcastic, just calm. It frames their disrespect as a performance you waited to finish. In a social setting where the comment is small but clearly meant to lower you, use the pivot. Anyway, as I was saying, then return to the original topic. You are not rewarding the interruption, you are deleting it from the room. For high-stakes disrespect, especially when the insult hides behind a joke, ask, "Why did you feel the need to say that just now?" That question removes the hiding place. Now they have to explain the intent, not just the words, and disrespect hates being explained in detail. But there is a trap here. If you ask the question with a shaking voice, it sounds like a plea. If you ask it while smiling nervously, it sounds like permission. If you ask it and then immediately explain yourself, you hand the power back. Say less. Hold the pause. Let the question do its job. Still, silence is not magic. It does not fix every room. But there is one exception. If the entire room is already toxic, silence is not there to win them over. It is there to stop feeding the game. In that kind of room, your silence is not a performance. It is the signal that the conversation is over and your next move is distance. If the whole group is addicted to disrespect, if the workplace rewards humiliation, or if the family system needs you to stay small, your silence will not fix them. But it will identify them. It turns a confusing situation into a clear choice. Do you stay in a room that requires you to be a doormat? But it will reveal something. It will show you whether the room has enough maturity to recognize low behavior when it appears. That matters, because some people are not trying to understand you. They are trying to make you keep paying the emotional tax of protecting their image. Stop paying the tax you never agreed to. You do not have to clean up every awkward moment someone else created. You do not have to laugh just because they became uncomfortable. You do not have to explain your worth to someone who was hoping you would over-explain your reaction. The silence rule is not about becoming cold. It is about refusing to become useful to disrespect. The next time someone tries to lower you in front of others, watch what happens after the insult. Watch the scan, watch the double down, watch the nervous fill, watch the physical leak. And before you rush to defend yourself, remember this. Sometimes the strongest response is not the perfect comeback. Sometimes it is letting their words stand in the room long enough for everyone to hear what they really were. If you want the deeper pattern behind why people target quiet strength in the first place, watch the next video on the silent behaviors that make people lower your status.